facts and fumbles.
Next story.
WashingtonPost.com. New generation of morons head to polls as math and reading scores plumb new deaths. Lisa Simpson.
4 minutes.
A troubling divergence in American society is coming into sharp focus this election cycle, while political campaigns and advocacy groups hail record registration and enthusiasm among young voters. Newly released national assessment data confirms that this energized electorate is testing below grade level in foundational skills at an unprecedented rate.
The results, drawn from the National Assessment of Educational Progress data released this week, show that nearly 70% of high school seniors are failing to meet proficiency benchmarks in mathematics. Over 55% struggle with basic reading comprehension, the highest non-proficiency rates recorded in a generation.
The timing of the data release, juxtaposed against a surge in youth-led voter turnout initiatives, has prompted searing critiques from academic observers who see a direct correlation between intellectual decline and the polarization of public life.
Given the election and re-election of Donald Trump, I think we're seeing the results of the long-term decline in the American education system, said a college professor who donned the cowl of anonymous coward to discuss the politically fraught topic openly. How much brains does it take to not elect a mountebank, a bigot, a charlatan who barely tries to hide what he is? How much brains does it take to appreciate the unmitigated success story of vaccine adoption? Innumeracy and ignorance of history due to lack of reading comprehension has to be the reason for the chaos we find ourselves living through.
This sentiment is echoed by policy veterans who see a brittle democracy being fueled by emotion rather than fact.
Dr. Elaine Vassar, a senior fellow at the Century Institute and former policy advisor to 3 presidential administrations, argues that the problem transcends simple test scores. What we are measuring here isn't just an inability to solve a quadratic equation or analyze Shakespeare, it's the systemic erosion of critical thinking, Vassar stated. Without those tools, voters are overwhelmingly susceptible to simple, emotionally resonant slogans and political theater that offer no serious policy solutions. This is the definition of an intellectually compromised electorate.
However, advocates for youth political action vehemently push back against the notion that academic performance is a prerequisite for civic duty.
The idea that you need a perfect score on a standardized test to care about your future is fundamentally elitist and anti-democratic, said Mara Cheney, director of Gen Z Votes, a nonpartisan engagement group. These young people are organizing around issues that directly impact their lives: climate, debt, housing, because the current system is failing them. If their schools aren't teaching them math well, that's a failure of the education system, not a disqualification from having a voice at the ballot box. They're voting despite the system, not because of it.
Political strategists too acknowledge the shifting landscape. Butch Reynolds, a veteran greedy rat bastard consultant, noted that campaigns have had to fundamentally adjust their communication strategies to accommodate lower literacy levels.
We have moved entirely to short-form video, memes, and visual content, Reynolds explained. The era of the 10-page white paper or the complex policy explainer is over. If you can't distill your core message into a TikTok soundbite, you are effectively ignoring the largest emerging voting bloc in the country. The sophistication of the message has had to meet the median level of comprehension.
While educators and policymakers scramble to address the root causes of the proficiency crisis, citing pandemic-related learning loss, teacher shortages, and cultural shifts away from reading, the immediate political consequences are already being felt, creating an environment where complex societal challenges are increasingly boiled down to binary, emotionally charged choices. The core question remains: can a democracy thrive when its newest, most active participants are, by objective measures, the least prepared to engage with its complexities?